Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today we have the very compelling and very interesting Lionsteel Thrill. This is a new slip joint from Lionsteel out of Italy. Comes in two different versions. This is the aluminum version. This is $120 for $200. There's a titanium version. They come in a bunch of different colors. I will cover that when we get to that part of the review. They're not all this kind of lipsticky red, but one of the most intensely engineered knives I've reviewed in a very long time. And I know you're thinking, it's a slip joint. They make these as the dark ages. Like, what could be so intensely engineered about this? Trust me, there's a lot. This is a very well thought out knife. Extremely impressive from an engineering standpoint. Before we get into the proper review, I do want to say thank you to Eugene Kwan for loaning this to me. There's going to be a link to his channel down below. He is criminally underfollowed, one of the best reviewers on YouTube. Does a lot of really high-end, really cool stuff. If you've seen anybody, reviewing knives sitting in their car, like the dashboard reviews, it's probably him. Also, really nice guy, one of my favorite humans, and I get along with him excellently, and really great guy. Please go follow his channel down below if you are interested in anything remotely cool like this. He did loan this to me, so thank you very much. Now, like I said, very intensely engineered. This is an integral aluminum frame, which is very unusual to use aluminum for a spring, but not that unusual for Lionsteel. They've had a couple models out for a long time that use aluminum frame locks. Haven't had them break, and a lot of people worry about aluminum fatiguing and stuff, but if you use the right kind of aluminum and the very tiny amounts that it's moving, it's really not anything to worry about. And I haven't heard of like mass amounts of any of other Lionsteel's aluminum frame locks breaking, so I can't imagine this would have that problem either. And if you look inside the milling in here, what they did, that is a very highly engineered spring. That is pretty amazing. You can see the back spring for the slip joint is just built into the frame. Making these cuts must have been horribly difficult to get them that straight and that thin. And it also, another little party trick it has is the HWAYL pocket clip system that Lionsteel. I think this is the second model they've used it on. It stands for hide what annoys you, which I think is pretty cool. But you just push this button on the side and your pocket clip pops out. You put it in your pocket, you let go, the spring tension holds it in your pocket. Pretty slick system, I do have to say. And I'm going to show you when we bring out Yield Wranglers Mark II here in a bit. It's not that hard to use at all. When I first saw it, I thought it looked kind of gimmicky on the previous knife that they've had it on, but using it on this, it's super easy to use. I actually really do like it. And it is just a gorgeous knife. And I guess this is the time to talk about the colors. In the aluminum versions, you can get a really bright orange, this really bright red, of course. You can also get an OD green or a black. In the titanium versions, you can get like a kind of a sky blue, a bronze, or a natural titanium. I will say, this is a very gentlemanly, very classy knife, and I kind of don't understand the bright color choices. I mean, it's Italian, it's going to be red, they're always going to make a red one, but I don't think this is the color I'd choose for it. That's kind of the only thing that I don't like about this knife. Eugene actually said that I could keep this if I wanted to. If it was the black one, I probably would have taken him up on it, but the red one, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're a lady, it can match your lipstick, or if you're a dude, I guess I don't make any judgment here. We welcome all kinds here. But yeah, or match some outfit you're wearing or something. I guess that would be kind of cool. But I guess in just this kind of super classy knife, I'd prefer one of the more classy colors. They do offer them in that. That's fine. So I guess I can't complain too much because you can get them. Like a bronze titanium would be pretty darn cool, I do have to say. But yeah, they're all very good looking either way. It's just some of the color choices aren't what I would pick. That's just a personal choice thing. Now let's do some specs and some size comparisons before we get too much farther here. We have an overall length of 7 inches, blade length of 3 inches, blade thickness of 0.13 inches, and a handle thickness of 0.5 inches, and a weight of just 2.35 ounces, so not bad at all. Size comparisons. Let's bust out Yield Spyderco Sandwich, the usual. As you can see, it's quite a bit smaller than a PM2. More similar in length to a Para 3, but obviously much more slender. Bring out the Benchmade Sandwich. We have the Spyderco full-size Griptilian, and the full-size bug out, just a little bit shorter than the bug out. And then I wanted to bring these two out. These are knives that you're going to be seeing reviews coming up on shortly too. We're going to have a lot of kind of slip joint and modern traditional content coming up in the next week or so. We have one that I was going to actually put up today, but I want to get this back to Eugene, so this will be coming up probably early next week, because I have some other stuff I need to do later in the week. We have the QSP Worker, which is a great knife, by the way. Spoiler alert when that review comes out. This thing is awesome. And well, we'll leave it out here. And a new one that I just got in that I'm just starting the review process on. This is a Real Steel G-Slip. As you can see, it's a little smaller than both of them. The G-Slip's actually quite a long knife. All right, now let's talk more about this knife in its individual bits. Let's start out with the blade. M390, $120 or $200. Full titanium integral for $200. I don't care if it's slip joint. That's still a really good deal. And with the aluminum, it's even a more ridiculous deal. Yeah, and pretty thin behind the edge, 18 thousandths. I will admit that's the first thing I checked when I got out of the box, because Lionsteel, Italian knives, period, pretty much are not known for having a very thin behind the edge. They are mostly pretty thick behind the edge. Almost all of them are. They're not known for being exactly slicing beasts, a lot of them. This one is pretty darn good. Pretty thin blade stock. Like I said, 0.13. It's nicely crowned and everything too. And it's a damn good slicer. And the tip is going to look very dainty because of the swedge, but it actually does have a pretty decent tip on it. Nothing that I worry too much about. Like I say, it does. You can kind of see the thickness there. With swedges, sometimes it's hard to tell from this angle, but it actually does have a pretty good tip on it. Not bad at all. I really like the blade on it. Just a very simple drop point. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Ergonomics are, as one would expect, with this little retractable pocket clip. It's superb. It is a slippery material for sure. This jimping does help out a little bit. Not jimping, I guess. This milling helps out a little bit. I think if my hands don't sweat, so I have a weird thing that way. So I think it would help out a bit more if you had normal people hands that actually, produce some moisture and actually gripped onto things. But it's still, I don't feel like it's going to come flat out of my hand. There's enough of a contour to it. I don't feel like, I'm going to drop it or anything, but I wouldn't want to, use it while working on oily stuff or anything like that. But I don't think that's really what this knife is for. But yeah, that pocket clip disappearing is just awesome. It's a really cool party trick to have, that it just does not get in the way. So there are 0 hot spots. The back here looks a bit abrupt, but it isn't. It's actually pretty nicely, contoured off. And as you can see, it's still hitting me right in the palm there, but there's no hot spot whatsoever from it. All this nice crowned blade, nice place to put your finger. The spring tension is great. We'll get to that in a moment. And you don't worry about, pushing on it a little bit, as long as you're cutting down on something. I really love the ergos on this. It's a super comfortable knife. And this stuff just feels, the anodization they use on the aluminum just feels so nice. It's just a very nice smooth feel. Now, as far as the carry goes, that's probably one of the main things you guys want to see. So it's going to be a bit harder to do on camera because I'm going from this angle, but all you do, you just push that little button, and your pocket clip comes out. It's not hard there. I just kind of hold it like that with 3 fingers and just pop it right in. You can kind of bend the edge up there if you have to. Like I said, it's a lot harder when you're doing it this angle. Slipping it in my pocket, standing up, it's super freaking easy. Then when you got to take it out, you just pull it out and it goes back. We'll do it the proper way here. Man, it's really hard to do it when you're not at the right angle. There you go. You can see. But it becomes second nature very, very quickly. When I'm not doing it with awkward hand angles like this, it works really great. Really, really impressed with it. It's been really good. And also when it's in your pocket, it doesn't take up hardly any room. It doesn't weigh much, with 2.35 ounces. The titanium ones are a little bit heavier because titanium weighs more than aluminum. I think a lot of people think that that titanium is lighter than aluminum. It is not. But yeah, it absolutely disappears in the pocket. Super easy to get your hand past. Takes up almost no room. The one problem that I have with it, and I only kind of skimmed through Eugene's review because I realized quickly I was going to ask him if I could borrow this, and I don't like to watch the whole reviews that other people do because I don't want to be unduly influenced. But I know there is one thing he mentioned that, yeah, the only thing holding this pocket clip tension-wise is the tension of that spring. The pocket clip itself is pretty flat. underneath. So yeah, it's just the tension of that spring that's holding it in. I didn't find it to be a problem. I never felt like it was gonna come flat out of my pocket, but you know, it may not be quite as securely mounted, you know, as some other stuff. It is too big really to be much of a fifth pocket knife. It kind of works. Yeah, you can get it in here pretty good, but it's bottomed out in this pocket. If this was more of a deep carry style clip, which obviously it can't be, it would not work. But yeah, you can use it as a fifth pocket knife, but it's not outstanding for it. Now, the deployment on this, the action, whatever you want to call it, it's really good. Very wicked smooth. That spring tension, this way overly engineered spring. I'm going to show that again. At least even get some light down in there. We shall see how that's gonna, there we go. Is that lighting that up all right? There we go. If you can see all that in there, but that is a whole lot of milling and computer engineering stuff to make sure that spring is sturdy and durable and provides the right amount of tension. And it really does feel like a very high-end traditional. It doesn't feel like, you know, a lot of modern slip joints don't have quite the walk and talk that you get in some others, and some of the older classics. Not this one. It's excellent. And Lionsteel makes a lot of slip joints, so it's not surprising that they knew how to tune one in. As you can see, I keep going like this on the blade. One of the downsides is the nail neck on it. It works. It's fine. It's not really a problem, but that's not how anybody's going to open it. You're going to grab it, and you're going to get fingerprints on it. But I am thoroughly impressed with the deployment on this. I really, really like it. There's no chance in hell you're going to be able to one-hand it. That just ain't going to happen. You could put one of those little thumb study things on there, I guess, but you'd have to put it right over the nail neck probably to get it. I guess you could get it there, but the back tension's so high, you're probably going to want it farther back. It would kind of defeat the purpose. But yeah, I really, really like opening and closing this. For a two-hand open slip joint, it's a lot of fun, I do have to say. So where does that leave us? I really, really like this. I really do. I know that Lionsteel was kind of a victim of the whole HRC thing when people were talking about companies not heat treating M390 properly. I believe that came to an amicable resolution. I know some apologies were made and all that kinds of stuff. So I'm only mentioning it because I'm trying to cut off the comments down below about it. I never had a problem with their M390 in the first place. It's still M390 at the end of the day. It's still going to be very rust resistant. It's still going to be pretty easy to sharpen, all that kind of stuff. And this blade is just really nice. And God, this is a pretty knife. It's just gorgeous. Even in this bright red that I normally wouldn't want. It looks a little bit brighter on the camera than it actually is. I would definitely call it red. I wouldn't call it like a burgundy, but it's a little darker in person. But the other colors available. This in the black looks amazing. That bronze, the natural titanium looks great. Yeah, I really, really do love the looks of this. I love the feel of it. I just love all the engineering that's in it. It's just like, this isn't just a modern slip joint. This is a slip joint from the future. You know, this is like a non-locking knife from 10 years from now. That's honestly what it feels like. Just with all the cool little things put into it. Really like it. For $120 for this aluminum version, I definitely think it's worth a shout. I may even just go out and get one. I like this one enough that I might go get the black one. I don't know if I'd pop for $200 for the titanium one, but I might get the black version of this because it is just classy as hell. And just all the little engineering things. And just knowing that you got all those little engineering bits in your pocket, I think it's kind of cool. So, hope you guys have enjoyed this. Go check it out. It's available at several places around your interwebs. I've been Brian. Have a good one.